This is what the map looked like at the end of round 15. Remember, the goal of both factions is to be the first one to defeat Kel'Thuzad over here. He hangs out in Stratholme. If no one can defeat him by the end of round 30, they have to do a PvP battle for all the glory. At the beginning of round 16, Bourbon decides to challenge the Naga at Fenris Isle. He has to roll 4s because the threat level is 4. He gets to roll 3 red dice, 2 green dice, and 2 blue dice. He ends up getting 4 hits. He then uses Stone Form to change 1 blue 1 into a 3. He uses his 2 rerolls and gets no more hits. He then uses Hunter's Mark to change the 2 3 blues into 2 4s, which is 2 more hits. I forgot to roll 1 more blue die for the improved sting for using Scorpid Sting. I end up getting not another hit. We now add the 2 hit tokens to damage, the 3 hit tokens to defense, and the 1 armor token to defense. The Naga then attacks back for 5, and we have 4 in defense, so we lose 1 health. So we make the bear lose the 1 health. Then all of the damage shifts up, and it's not enough to defeat the Naga, so we go another round. We get to roll the same number of dice again, and we end up getting 6 hits. We then use Stone Form on the red 1 to change it to a 3. We use our 1 reroll and get another hit. We add 3 more hit tokens to damage, 2 hit tokens to defense, and 2 more armor tokens to defense. This is the first time it's happened, but the blue dice are considered ranged and magical, which was enough damage to KO the Naga, therefore the Naga doesn't get to attack back. Bourbon gets 10 gold, 5 experience, -1 because he's over leveled, so only 4, the best of 3 white items, and another white item. He gets to choose between Trog Club, Fine Longbow, and Bent Staff. He ends up choosing Fine Longbow. He also gets Sky Color. The Alliance decide on a new yellow quest, which ends up being Unexpected Visitors. Bourbon then uses his last action to challenge the Murloc at Fenris Isle. He needs to roll 5s because the threat level is 5. He gets to roll 3 blue dice, 3 red dice, and 2 green dice. He ends up getting 5 hits. He then uses Stone Form on the 1 blue to change it to a 3. We then place the 2 hit tokens in damage, 2 hit tokens in defense, 1 armor token in defense, but once again, the blue range damage is enough to defeat the Murloc, so he doesn't get to attack back. Bourbon gets 4 gold, 5 experience, minus the penalty of 2 because he's up 2 levels on the quest, and then he gets a white item. This levels him to level 4. He now has 8 health and 8 energy, and gets to regain all of it, and he gets to choose a new talent between Mortal Shots, Aim Shot, Growl, Lightning Reflexes, Precision, Lethal Shots, and Improved Hunter's Mark. He ends up choosing Mortal Shots. This really helps his blue dice pack a punch when he rolls 8s. And he finally grabs his white item from the quest, which is Shadow Wand. His inventory space is full because you can only have 3 items, so he ends up discarding the Shadow Wand, which goes back into the merchant's deck for anyone to purchase in the future. The Alliance end up deciding on a new yellow quest, which ends up being Crushing the Crush Ridge. Brebo goes next and uses his action to challenge the spider at Airy Peak. He needs to roll 5s because the threat level is 5. He gets to roll 6 blue dice, 3 red dice, and 3 green dice. He ends up getting 6 hits. We place 2 hit tokens in damage, 3 hit tokens in defense, and 1 armor token in defense. The spider attacks back for 4, but we have 4 tokens in defense, so we take no damage. It then all shifts up into damage, and we have to go another round. We get to roll all of the same dice again, and we end up getting 10 hits. We add 6 more hit tokens to damage, 2 more hit tokens to defense, and 2 more armor tokens to defense, but now we get to defeat the spider during the range step because this is more than enough damage to get rid of him. Brebo uses his second action to travel the Skulk Rock. Brandon uses both his travel actions to get the Shoal Watha. The round ends and the turn marker goes to turn 17 and a new blue item is added. It is Solid Iron Maul. This is what the round looks like at the end of round 16. At the beginning of the round, Liam challenges the Naga at North Tides Hollow. He needs to roll 4s because the threat level is 4. At the start, Liam uses his talent, Shadow Burn, to add 2 hit tokens to damage before the battle starts. He gets to roll 2 red dice and 2 blue dice. He ends up getting 2 hits. He then uses Immolate to turn the 7 into an 8, so he can spot an 8 to get 2 rerolls. He ends up rolling 1 more hit. He ends up losing 1 health due to the Naga's special ability for rolling the 2 red. We add the 2 more hits to damage, 1 more hit to defense, but this is unfortunate because the Naga attacks back for 5, we have 1 in defense, so we take 4 damage, we have 3 health left, so even if we use our robes to lose an energy instead of a health, we get knocked out. We decide to go back to Brill, and we get 1 health and 1 energy. We then use our last action to take a town action. We also have to lose the auction house item Boots of Endurance, which is a shame because Liam got defeated. With the town action, we get 2 more energy and 1 more health. We train the skill Imp for 4 gold, and we buy the robe of apprenticeship for 6 gold from the merchant. Zauka and Grumbaz decide to challenge the Wildkin at Sorrow Hill. They need to roll 6s because the threat level is 6. Grumbaz gets to go first, and he gets to roll 4 red dice and 2 green dice. He ends up getting 2 hits. He then uses Rend to change the 5 into an 8 for another hit. He ends up using 3 rerolls and gets 3 more hits. We get to also add 1 attrition for Blood Fury. We add 4 hit tokens to defense, 1 armor token to defense, and 1 hit token to attrition. Zauka gets to go next, and she gets to roll 4 red dice, 2 green dice, and a blue die. She ends up getting 5 hits. She also gets to add 1 to attrition for Blood Fury. We add 3 more hit tokens to defense, 2 more armor tokens to defense, and 1 more hit token to attrition. The Wildkin attacks for 8, but we have more than enough defense to lose no health. All of the damage shifts up, but it's too short from defeating the Wildkin, so we have to go another round. Grumbaz gets to roll the same amount of dice again, and gets 1 hit. He then uses his rerolls, and gets no more hits. He then uses Cruelty to change the 2 5 on the red dice to 6s to get 2 more hits. He then also gets to add 1 more attrition for Blood Fury. We add 2 more hits to defense, 1 armor token to defense, and 1 hit token to attrition. Zauka is going to use Parry to remove a red die to be able to roll 5 green dice, 1 red die, and 1 blue die. She ends up getting 3 hits. She then uses her rerolls, but only gets 1 more hit. She also gets to add 1 to attrition for Blood Fury. We add 1 more hit to damage, 3 more armor tokens to defense, and 1 more hit token to attrition. The Wildkin attacks back for 8 minus the 6 defense, so Grumbaz loses 2 health. We then shift all of the damage up, and it's enough to defeat the Wildkin. Grumbaz uses his second action as a training action. He spends 5 gold on Thunderclap. Zauka uses her second action to use the flight path to travel to North Tides Hollow. At the end of round, Grumbaz equips Thunderclap and Ravenwood Bow. Liam equips Imp and Robe of Apprenticeship. The round marker moves to turn 18, but nothing special happens. This is what the map looks like at the end of round 17. At the beginning of round 18, Brebo uses a travel action to go to Shalwatha. Brandon joins in to challenge the Wildkin. They need to roll 5s because the threat level is 5. He gets to roll 5 green dice and 3 red dice. He ends up getting 3 hits. He then uses his rerolls, but gets no more hits. He then has to unequip a power because he rolled a 1, so he unequips Blessing of Might. He also gets to add 3 to attrition. We add 1 hit token to defense, 2 armor tokens to defense, and 3 hit tokens to attrition. Brebo gets to go next, and he gets to roll 5 blue dice, 3 red dice, and 3 green dice. He ends up getting 5 hits. He then uses his rerolls and gets 2 more hits. He then uses his Piercing Ice talent to spot a blue 8 to roll 2 more red dice. He gets 1 more hit. He also gets to add 1 attrition for Sky Color. And he also has to unequip a power for rolling a 1. He chooses Fireball. We add 4 hit tokens to damage, we add 3 hit tokens to defense, we add 1 armor token to defense, and 1 hit token to attrition. The Wildkin attacks for 8, and we have 7 defense, so we have to lose 1 health. We have Brandon lose 1 health. Then all of the damage moves up into damage, and it's more than enough to take out the Wildkin. They get to split 16 gold, 6 experience, the best of 2 blue items, and another blue item. Brandon gets 8 gold, Brebo gets 8 gold. They each get 3 experience, but Brebo gets 4 experience because they were both underleveled for the quest, but he was lower on the experience track, so he gets 4, and then Brandon gets 3. Brandon has to decide between Greater Healing Potion or Bone Studded Leather. He chooses Greater Healing Potion. Brebo gets Dustfall Robes. The Alliance choose a new yellow quest. They end up getting Eyes in the Ruins. Brandon uses his last action to travel to Altar of Zul. Bourbon uses a travel action to go to the Uplands to challenge the Naga there. He needs to roll 5s because the threat level is 5. He gets to roll 5 blue dice, 3 red dice, and 2 green dice. He ends up getting 7 hits. He then uses Stone Form to change the 1 blue into a 3 blue. He uses his rerolls and gets 1 more hit. We get to add 1 attrition for spotting a 7+ red, and we also get to add 1 blue hit token to the damage box for spotting a blue 8. We add 5 hit tokens to damage, 3 hit tokens to defense, 1 armor token to defense, and 1 hit token to attrition. The Naga then attacks back for 5, minus the 4 defense, so we assign the 1 health loss to the bear. We then shift all of the damage into the damage section, which is enough to take out the Naga. At the end of the round, Brebo equips Dustfall Robes and Fireball. Brandon equips Blessing of Might. The round marker moves to turn 19 and draws an event card. They end up drawing New Horizons. Each faction may choose to discard one of their current quest cards and replace it with a new quest card from a quest deck of their choice. Any green and red creatures spawned by discarded quest cards are removed from the board. There's also a blue plus symbol here, so we draw another event after this one resolves. The Horde get rid of Dark Hills, Dark Hearts because it's far out of reach. They agree on a new yellow quest and get Ogres in the Uplands. The Alliance get rid of City by the Sea because it's a low level quest and it's kind of out of the way. They decide on a new yellow quest and get Ogres in Anderhall. They draw another event, but get New Horizons again, but because this is a duplicate, it gets discarded and nothing happens. This is what the map looks like at the end of round 18. At the beginning of the round, Liam travels to North Tide's Hollow to help Zauka challenge the Naga. They need to roll 4s because the threat level is 4. Liam gets to go first and gets to roll 2 blue dice, 2 red dice, and 2 green dice. He ends up getting 5 hits. He then uses his reroll, but doesn't get another hit. He ends up losing 1 health from the Naga's special ability for rolling a 1 red. We add 2 hit tokens to damage, 1 hit token to defense, and 2 armor tokens to defense. Zauka gets to go next and gets to roll 4 red dice and 2 green dice. She ends up getting 2 hits. She then uses her rerolls to get 1 more hit. She also gets to add 1 to attrition for Blood Fury. We add 3 more hit tokens to defense and 1 more hit token to attrition. The Naga attacks for 5, but they have 6 defense, so they lose no health. Then all of the hit tokens go into damage, and it's more than enough to defeat the Naga. They get to split 7 gold, 4 experience, and a white item. Because they are exactly on the same spot on the experience track, they have to roll to see who gets more gold. Zauka wins the roll, so she gets 4 gold, and Liam gets 3 gold. They each only get 1 experience instead of 2, because they are each 1 level above the quest, so they suffer a penalty. Liam gets Footman Tunic. They draw a new yellow quest and get a Battle in the Wild. Grumbaz travels to Chillwind Point to challenge the ogre there. He needs to get 4s because the threat level is 4. He gets to roll 5 blue dice, 3 red dice, 2 green dice. He ends up getting 5 hits. He then gets to spot an 8 green to roll another green die, which ends up being a hit. He uses his rerolls, but only gets 1 more hit. He then uses Cruelty to change the 2 3 red dice to 2 4s, which is 2 more hits. He then gets to also add 1 attrition for Blood Fury. So we add 3 hit tokens to damage, 3 hit tokens to defense, 3 armor tokens to defense, and 1 hit token to attrition. The Ogre then attacks for 9, minus the 6 defense, so Grumbaz loses 3 life. We then move all of the hit tokens into damage, and it's not enough to defeat the Ogre, so we go another round. He doesn't have enough energy for another Thunderclap, so he only gets 3 blue dice, 3 red dice, and 2 green dice. He ends up getting 5 hits. He then uses Cruelty to turn the 2 red into a 3 red. He also gets to add 1 to attrition for Blood Fury. We add 2 hit tokens to damage, 2 hit tokens to defense, 1 armor token to defense, and 1 hit token to attrition. The Ogre attacks back for 9 minus the 3 defense, so Grumbaz takes 6 damage and gets KO'd. Grumbaz decides to resurrect at the ruins of Anderhall. He gets 1 health and 1 energy. Zauka is going to use her last action for a town action. She's going to regain 3 energy and purchase the solid iron maul from the merchant and train the stone skin totem. She will get the gold by selling the footman tunic for 2 and the cobalt buckler for 3, plus the 14 she already has. At the end of the round, Zauka equips the solid iron maul and she equips the stone skin totem. The round marker moves to turn 20, which adds a new blue item to the market, which ends up being Lesser Mana Potion. This is what the map looks like at the end of round 19. At the beginning of the round, Bourbon challenges the 2 ghouls in the uplands. He needs to roll 6s because the threat level is 6. He gets to roll 5 blue dice, 3 red dice, and 2 green dice. He's going to then use Scroll of Lesser Strength to roll 2 more red dice. He ends up getting 6 hits. He also then gets to add 1 attrition for spotting a 7+ red. He also gets to add 1 more hit token into the damage section because he gets to spot an 8 blue. We add 4 hit tokens to damage, 2 hit tokens to defense, 1 armor token to defense, and 1 hit token to attrition. The initial range shots of 4 damage get to eliminate one of the ghouls, and the other ghoul attacks back for 5, minus the 3 defense, so Bourbon loses 2 health. We shift up the rest of the damage, and it's 1 short from defeating the last ghoul, so we get to go again. We get to roll the same amount of dice minus the 2 red dice because we don't have another Lesser Scroll of Strength. He ends up getting 6 hits. We add 2 more hit tokens to damage, 2 more hit tokens to defense, and 1 armor token to defense, but during the range step, it's enough damage to take out the ghoul before he can strike back. Bourbon ends up gaining 15 gold, 6 experience, and the best of 3 blue items. He has to choose between Greater Agility Potion, Tortoise Armor, and Scroll of Great Spirit. He ends up choosing Tortoise Armor. He has too many items in his backpack, you can only hold 3, so he ends up discarding the laminated recurve bow back to the merchant deck. The Lions decide on a new yellow quest, and they end up getting Wildkin in the Woods. Bourbon uses a training action to purchase White Tiger, Multi-Shot, and Serpent Sting for 30 gold. Brebo uses a travel action to go to Altar of Zul to help Brandon challenge the Blue Independent Wildkin. They need to roll 6s because the threat level is 6. Brandon gets to roll 4 green dice, 2 red dice, and 2 blue dice because he's using the Scroll of Lesser Strength. He ends up getting 3 hits. He uses his rerolls and gets 1 more hit. He then gets to add 4 to attrition and gets to heal up 1 for Holy Shield. He has to unequip a power because of the special ability of the Wildkin, and he chooses Hammer of Justice. I forgot to take a picture, so we'll add it after Brebo's turn. He gets to roll 3 blue dice, 3 red dice, and 3 green dice. He ends up getting 5 hits. He uses his rerolls and gets 2 more hits. He also gets to add 1 to attrition for the Skycolor Wand. He has to unequip a power for rolling a 1. He chooses Fireball. So from both characters, we add 3 hit tokens to damage, 4 hit tokens to defense, 4 armor tokens to defense, and 5 hit tokens to attrition. The Wildkin then attacks for 8, but we have 8 defense, so they lose no health. Then all of the damage shifts up to the damage section, and it's enough to defeat the Wildkin. Brandon then uses his second action as a rest action to regain 4 energy. At the end of the round, Brandon equips Hammer of Justice, and Brebo equips Fireball. Lastly, Bourbon equips Serpent Sting, White Tiger, and Multi-Shot. The round marker moves to turn 21, but nothing special happens. This is what the map looks like at the end of round 20. So far, the Alliance have a huge lead over the Horde. This is the first time I noticed a difference, but anything can happen in this game, so to be continued.